live and back. Welcome to Sports Talk with Najee, Marsell, and Grant. We usually go on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, but we had to switch it up a little bit. So now we're going on Friday. What's a better day than Friday, right? We all love Friday. So tune in, lock in. We are here, ready to go. How you guys feeling, Najee and Marsell?
I'm feeling great. You know, we just got the Knicks. Knicks are waiting, see if the Pistons or Cleveland's going to win it. I hope Cleveland wins this. I believe, but if Donnie Mitchell and James Harden stay doing what they're doing, it's going to be really hard for the Knicks to beat them. But I still believe in the Knicks, so I'm just waiting for them. But hey, happy Friday, y'all. Glad to be here.
Happy Friday, man. We got a really good topic today. We're definitely going to dive into who are the most overrated and underrated players in the NBA. I know there's always discussions about that every year on who deserves the money, who doesn't deserve the money. So we're going to dive into that. That's the main topic for tonight's show. But first, like always, we're going to go into the updated playoff standings and sports news that we heard about. So let's just go right into my team. Obviously, the Lakers, Lakers and OKC. That was the past series. OKC is waiting for the next opponent. It's fair to say that OKC is probably the favorite out of the West. Would you say so as well?
100%. The favorite, this year, the favorite next year, probably the favorite for, a couple more years. If they keep having the same, if they keep the same team, I don't think it's just going to be very hard in the West. There's a lot of players in the West that are really, really good that if they went to the East, they would be dominant. But it's going to be really hard to, get past OKC in the West. It really is. They all five players, even six, 7 guys on the bench coming out are, electric. So it's going to be very hard to really beat OKC.
Yeah, and you're right about, for years to come. I mean, the Clippers gift wrapped them a plethora of picks. I mean, they got picks for days, man. And next year, they got another first-round pick. I think they're getting, the 12th pick in the draft, which is crazy. Like, you're still going to get a very high-quality player from the draft. So, yeah, I mean, OKC is the favorite. For years to come in the West, they're definitely going to be a force to reckon with. Marsell, how do you feel about OKC going forward?
Well, I think I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
Right now, they're set up. But, it comes down to health also. I think in the Western Conference. But then again now, them young Spurs, man, you got to look out for them.
Yeah.
And again, like I said last week, I don't know the contract situations for either team. But OKC, their management has done an excellent job in building that franchise, getting that franchise where they are right now. They got their first ring last year, and they got a great chance to repeat this year, and as well as next year, because I don't see any other. It's them and right now it's them and San Antonio in the West. Those two are the top 2 teams in the West. And they're both young, so that's really scary. They're both young. So. And
the Spurs have had their number the whole season as well. So it's going to be exciting. Yeah, the playoffs is different. 7 games. Yeah, 7. You got 7. But yeah, I think the Spurs can pull it out too. But it's OKC.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting series. And I say that because you got Wemby on the Spurs, and then you got Shea on OKC. Those are the 2 front men from where I'm sitting at, and whoever has the better series and gets the most, the most help from their supporting cast, that's going to be the victor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what about on the Lakers side of things? I mean, you got LeBron, who's a free agent. You got Austin Reeves, who's a free agent. Pretty much their whole team, are free agents, and there's not a lot of good free agents in this class. Coming up this summer, it's a lot of restricted free agents. So it's like they're probably going to have to re-sign a lot of these guys to even really have a chance. I mean, what do you guys, want to see from the Lakers going forward or with LeBron,
Mm-hmm. This is my thing. I would say is, let me sit up. My thing is, if they ain't got LeBron, they not going nowhere. So they need to re-sign LeBron James if they want to think about anything in the future. He's just such a pivotal role. He has such a pivotal role on the team. And I don't know if you can find that with any other player in the league. Just the ball knowledge he has alone, I would pay him, 15, 20 million, but it's whatever LeBron wants to do. If LeBron wants to, go chase the bag, he can go somewhere else. But if he feels at home and thinks like the Lakers can still be that top tier team in the West, then I hope he stays. I hope they give him a good contract and he stays. But Austin Reeves, they have to sign him again. You're not gonna find players like that. I would say he's a little bit underrated. To me, he's definitely a seasoned player right now. I think he'll get that playoff. Once he gets that more playoff experience, I think he could be that player. But for someone who's like unknown and has really shown what he can do, I believe he deserves the money, but not Luka money, not
40 million, no.
Not 40 million money. I hope he, is reasonable about it and doesn't, start chasing the bag. But I also get those players that need to chase that bag, because that's why you really go to, you make it to the NBA. You're like, I need life-changing money. I've done the 1% is in the NBA, if not even the 1%. Right. So he's done what he has to do, and I believe that he needs to. I think the Lakers still need to keep him. Marsell, no.
Hey, now I am going to sound like a hater, like the old head, the old man. No, the reason why the Lakers are in the conundrum that they're in right now is because of their management. We just talked about OKC and San Antonio. You look at the Warriors when they had their run. You look at the Celtics. They all did it organically. Yeah, the Lakers got that bubble chip. They got it. But what did they have to give up to get that chip? And how long ago was that championship?
6 years now. We'll be on 6 years.
Right? In that time, how many draft picks, how much capital have they gotten rid of? Every year, So, me, honestly, if I'm in that seat in LA, I'm not re-signing LeBron. I'm letting him walk. Because bring him back. Okay, let me ask you this. You bring him back, how far are you getting?
I mean, you're still probably like a top 6 team in the West.
You're making playoffs for sure. You're making playoffs for sure.
Again, that injury bug, and I don't wish injuries on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But where's Luka right now?
Yeah.
Injured.
My point.
Yeah.
And you saying you're going to sign Austin Reeves again. So now you got 3 perimeter ball players that play one end of the floor, not the other end. I'm about wins, man. I want to win. In order to win, you need guys on the floor that's going to play both ends. Yeah, you're going to have a superstar that's not as talented on the defensive end as he is on the offensive floor, end of the floor. But he's got to be willing to play defense, though.
Right.
You can't have 3 guys out there, who can all play offense, but select when they want to play defense. That's tough. That is tough. And I thought the reason why you play the game is to win.
Mm-hmm.
And to go as far as you can go. And with the roster that they have, and like I said, poor management.
But I can't say they have poor management, because I would for me, if I had the chance to go get Luka, I'm just have to give up, her AD, who's her more than 50% of the season. I'm making that trade. That trade to me, I was like, that was a no-brainer. I don't know, what Nico Harrison was doing. You could tell that they must have had something on him, because there's just no way I would have gave up the best 25-year-old, 24-year-old at the time, who's literally a top 3, player in the NBA. But I would have done that. So I see where they're going, and they're just like, okay, this is going to be Luka's team. But like I said, with LeBron, it's just that they have to get him to a salary that is very low. Just like how the Dodgers got Shohei Ohtani, deferred the money, and he's only making $2 million a year. That's kind of how they have to start structuring these deals.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think LeBron wants to come back and be third fiddle?
I don't. But this is his at this age now. He can't be number one. He can't.
Hey, you know what?
It's just not it.
Hey, every champion, every guy that's a great athlete, great ball player in their particular sport, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan. Think about those guys.
Mm-hmm. Do
you think those guys would come back and be like, yeah, and take the back seat? LeBron is not taking. I don't see LeBron coming back to the Lakers and taking a back seat to those cats.
Yeah,
he did it this year, but I can't speak for him. But if I were in his position, I'd be like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and retire then if I can't be the man.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, because he showed now in that Houston series, he showed that he could take that team and win a series. And that validation right there, how do you think he's going to respond to A, the money they offer, and B, the role that he's going to be asked to fulfill next year?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you, and then I kind of push back on both of you as well. Like, I do think they need LeBron James back because in terms of like the free agency market, like who else are you gonna have? Who else are you gonna sign? You know what I'm saying? That's going to produce like LeBron does. I mean, he averaged 23, 7, and 7. Like that's on a bad, that's on his decline, and that's still better than 90% of the league. So it's like you have to bring him back. Unfortunately, it's not going to be at the money that obviously he'd probably want. Obviously, he'd want a max, but if you could bring him back at like 15 million or something like that, that would be amazing. But with Austin Reeves, I'm not going to lie, he could walk. Like Austin Reeves, he's great offensively. He is great offensively. I am a big fan of Austin Reeves. But here's the thing. You sign him, but you sign and trade him because you don't want to obviously get nothing back for him. I would say you figure out a sign and trade where you could send him off to like Brooklyn or something, and then you could bring in some defensive pieces in a big so that you could pair LeBron and Luka together, because those two together, it's like, okay, you have Luka, he's going to give you MVP numbers. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of defensive liability sometimes. But when Luka got to the finals, he had those bigs in the paint that could block shots so that you could funnel guys into those bigs. You know what I'm saying? You had a Kyrie next to him, a guy who can score and create. LeBron can score and create. And then also you have defenders as well. Like the team just needs to be constructed better around Luka going forward. And unfortunately for Austin Reeves, like if you give him, even if you do give him 30 mil plus, 35 mil plus, which is what he's going to ask for. And he does deserve that money, but not on the Lakers.
Not on the Lakers.
That's my take on it. Like he's a great player, but like if you want to build a championship team around Luka, Austin Reeves might have to go. See if you can sign and trade him. See if you can sign him and then get something in return. You bring back Rui Hachimura as well. Rui Hachimura, that dude shot the lights out.
That dude's no joke. They got to keep him. They got to
keep him. He's 6'8". You know what I'm saying? He can defend. He's athletic. You probably bring back Marcus Smart as well because Marcus Smart's veteranship. Obviously offensively he can be iffy, but defensively, he's stout. Like I think Reeves can go. You bring back LeBron. Obviously Luka's here as well, and then you just got to construct the team better. It does come back to management. Like Marsell said, and then you go from there. That's my take.
I do see that. You got two shooters who, Austin Reeves kind of is like, I would say, not as good as Luka, but he's on that trajectory, not close, but he's on that trajectory of being a superstar to where he needs his shots. He's not going to get those shots if he stays on the Lakers. He's not going to be a focal point. So I see your point where you can, trade away Austin Reeves, go get a big to try to make the system work around Luka. I definitely understand it. But Marcel was saying, is LeBron going to want to take that step back? But you also need a guy on the team that is going to be like your second man. You know, if Luka goes down, we got LeBron James. You know, that's why I was like, but it's always hard to give up players. You know, how the Lakers, we always give up players who are really, you know, about to hit that stardom. And what do we get? You know, we get nothing in return. So it's just really hard. When you find a gem, like you kind of never want to give it away.
You know, and this is the last thing for me. At some point, the Lakers got to start going through the draft and developing ball players. That's why they're in this position right now. Think about who they traded to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball, Ingram, all those guys.
Yeah, well, Lonzo, you know, he's been injured, but if you look at Ingram, you look at wasn't Josh Hart out there too? Was Hart with them?
Josh Hart was. Yeah.
So, you know, that's what happens when you cater to a ball player to get a player. Mm-hmm. You don't think about down the road. Yeah, you get a championship, that's fine. But what else have you done since then?
I just feel like that's what the big money teams do. You know, I always come back to like the Dodgers because it's LA. Like everyone's always watching LA. And like it's just what the Dodgers, their philosophy is we're just gonna go buy the best players. But there's no cap. So with the NBA,
baseball is different than basketball.
Cap. So with basketball, it's like you got to get LeBron back down to earth and try to get him, you know, a lower contract just so that you can go out and get better guys. You know,
I'm a green and white guy myself. I'm a Celtics fan, lifelong Celtics fan. We don't do that. Look at the roster we have right now. We got some free agents, but we drafted Jaylen Brown, drafted.
Tatum,
drafted. Pritchard, drafted.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to do the grunt work. You have to have good scouts, good management, and everybody has to be on the same team, on the same page. Get the best guy, get the guy that you want, quality ball players, guys that you can see that you can develop, that will develop. And that's the difference between Boston and LA. LA, you know, and that's been LA's thing since I can remember. You know, they drafted Magic, Byron Scott, but a lot of times, a lot of the ball players they get via trade or free agency. Shaq, great example. You know, they want to buy championships.
Yeah. And I think a trade that was very terrible from the Lakers side of things is when they gutted their team for Russell Westbrook. Like that was like, come on. Like you still had some of those young players after the AD trade, and then you just gave up Kuzma. You gave, you know, Caruso walked, all these guys left. You gutted your team again for Russell Westbrook that doesn't fit with LeBron. That was terrible. I'll give you that. That was very terrible on management. Yeah.
Y'all got the best management in baseball. I mean, basketball. My bad, basketball. That's the best management right there.
Yeah, man.
They just go after players that are already on their decline. It's just not good.
I mean, go look back at towards the end of Shaq's tenure in LA. They bring in Gary Payton and Karl Malone.
Yeah.
Two guys to validate your point now, G. Two guys at the end of their road.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, again, it's when you want to. It's when you want to buy championships. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I just think if there was no market cap, then LA would just be spending all their money on the best players.
Oh,
I just know that they'd
be in the same position they're in right now.
Yeah. No.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see what the Lakers do. You know, obviously OKC is going to be here for years to come. We'll see if they win it. You know, next, you know, obviously we have the Spurs and Minnesota series, you know, 3-2. Both teams very talented, but, you know, obviously a lot of people are leaning towards the Spurs. What are you guys looking for in that matchup?
Wembanyama. I mean, Wembanyama comes out, they're gonna blow him out. I mean, to me, it's Anthony Edwards is a top 5 player in the league, 100% top 5 player.
Yeah.
But with Wembanyama being the top 1 player, like we just got to be realistic. Like this guy can take over the game like no one else can. All Stephen Castle has to do is just throw it near the basket, and Wembanyama is dunking it on someone, and that's just facts. Like this guy Wembanyama can shoot threes, he can create space, he's dishing the ball out. Like if this guy comes to play, there is no stopping Wembanyama. Yeah. But with, Minnesota is, to me, is like they're missing just maybe one piece, but it's just so hard. The West is so deep. Like if they were in the East, they would be a top 3 team, top 2 team. But it's just very hard when it comes to facing, OKC. You're facing the Spurs. Right. To me, they're just not there yet. So I see the Spurs moving on, and then hopefully that OKC they're playing OKC, and then that's going to be a good series.
Yeah, I think it comes down to Anthony Edwards' health. They go as he goes. Wherever he leads, they follow. And I think Devin DiVincenzo's injury that really
was
hurt
tough.
him. Yeah. So I picked the Spurs to win this series, but depending upon that energy that they come out, because Minnesota's at home now. This game's in Minnesota, so depending upon the energy, the energy. My bad. Depends upon the energy and Davis and Edwards' health. If they come out looking wounded, this thing's a wrap.
Yeah,
it's a wrap. But if he comes out with good energy and moving pretty good, and that gym that arena's gonna be rocking, they have a chance to push it to 7. But it all comes down to Anthony Edwards, though. It's on his back.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Edwards is probably top 5, like what Najee said, one of the best young players in the league for sure. And
I don't think if Wemby didn't get ejected the other game, they would have won. Like Wemby not even being there, and it was a close game. Like to me, it just shows like if Wemby's on the floor, they're going to steamroll them. Like they still had a chance to win that game. Like it's just not. There's no comparison to me. Like the Spurs are going to the next series. I got my bets in. FanDuel's going to pay me out. We're gonna be all right.
I hope you put $5 down.
hey, Minnesota.
Hey, man.
Anything can happen.
Possible. Anything can happen.
And Minnesota, they got hoopers, bro. Like Julius Randle could still drop 20 on any given night. Dosunmu, he dropped 40 in one series. Like Rudy Gobert, he got worked the other night, but there's gonna be some nights where Rudy is actually blocking shots. Like they have guys who can come in and still, and they're rough riders. Like they fight. Like these dudes will fight. So I think Minnesota will win tonight, but that game 7, all bets are off, man. It's gonna be a movie.
So Grant, so you picking Minnesota to win tonight?
Yes.
And Najee, you saying
that's the Spurs.
Spurs.
It's the Spurs.
If I have to pick one of the two, I'm gonna pick the Spurs to win.
Mm-hmm.
And Wembanyama. I like. But Wemby, man, listen. If he comes out, you guys saw the All-Star game, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he comes up with that same, he was that All-Star game. I haven't watched the All-Star game in I don't know how long, but I wanted to see how that looked. If he comes up with that same determination, the look that he had during that game, during those games, and his energy, if he comes up with that energy tonight, oh, it's a wrap.
It's wraps. Yeah,
It's wraps. I mean,
he is a takeover player.
Because Gobert. I mean, he has no business guarding that cat.
he's trying.
He is, man. But I mean, but if Wemby comes out and plays at his highest level tonight, oh, this thing is done in the first half.
Yeah.
Because that kid can go.
Yeah, man. We just hope he stays healthy, for years to come, because he could be one of the greatest ever, no doubt.
If he stays healthy, man. If he stays healthy, he plays 13, 14 years.
He won't need 20 years. He only will need like 13, like you said, 13, 14.
If he get 13, 14 years, man. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. So yeah, still another good series. There's been a lot of really good series this playoffs. Really been a good watch. So definitely tune in. I know we talked a little bit about the Cavs, and Detroit before, but another good series. Cleveland is playing up to their talent, like what people have been claiming for. James Harden is actually hooping. Detroit, Cade Cunningham's been amazing, but obviously Jalen Duren's been up and down in some of the games. But what are you guys looking for in that matchup, and who are you going for?
Cleveland.
Yeah.
I need Cleveland. I mean, just to me, I need Cleveland. I know we can, but Donnie Mitchell at Madison Square Garden is a problem though. So like, I was always like, we need to go get Donovan Mitchell to get on the Knicks because he's unreal when he's over there at Madison Square Garden. But he's just a takeover player, just like Wembanyama, like Anthony Edwards, takeover player. But we were talking earlier, Marsell, he was telling us like, hey, but they shut him down early in that the previous game but Donnie Mitchell in the second half though had like 30, 35 plus, That was, if he's on, there is no stopping him. There is none. And then you got James Harden. Thank God he picked it up because before he wasn't doing anything, making bad passes, turning the ball over, couldn't hold the rock. And so you're just really like, it's a disservice to the team because we know how great this team can be. They have the bigs, they got everyone, they got shooting guards, they got a great point guard in James Harden. Like they have a chance to make a run for it. I just don't think they could beat OKC. I just don't believe that. And I don't believe they could beat the Knicks. If Jalen Brunson is, fully healthy, Cat is making his threes and, OG's back, but I mean, McBride looked great the other night when they first played at that last game. So I look forward to it. I just want to see what Cleveland and, the Pistons do tonight, but I see Cleveland winning it.
I know why you see Cleveland winning it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to see Detroit.
I don't want to see Detroit. No, I don't.
But you know what, though? The problem with Detroit, they just have Cade Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
That's their problem. They want to bully you. They want to, it's. And this is why Cleveland won the last game. Like I said, Allen, Mobley, and Mitchell. What's his name? Duren. That's the big kid name, right? Duren.
Yeah, Duren.
He's struggling because the Cleveland Bigs are playing better than him. And what's the other cat's name? Is that Drummond with them too? Drummond? Is he the other big for Detroit?
Nah, they don't have Drummond.
Drummond's on the Sixers.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Who's the other big for Detroit? Oh, Stewart.
Stewart, yeah, Stewart.
Yeah, I don't know how they messed that up, man. That's my guy. He was
crazy.
At UW. He was at UW, University of Washington, man. Mm-hmm. But anyway, but the Cleveland Bigs are outplaying the Detroit Piston Bigs, and I'm not going to put any stock in James Harden. I'm sorry. I've seen him play since he was a rookie, and when that first series against Miami Heat and his disappearing act. Mm-hmm. And he's been doing it ever since. And he's got to show and prove. He's got to put together a good series for me to even think about mentioning his name. And that's not being mean or anything. It's just I've seen it before. That's why I said they need those three. If those three outplay Cunningham and his two bigs, Cleveland wins the series. And as far as New York is concerned, if New York is healthy, I would like to see them in the finals. So
I just never thought the Knicks would get this far, to be honest. You know, I know they had a great team, but I just never thought they'd get this far.
You know what, though? And I don't think Mike Brown gets enough credit. Although I didn't agree with the firing of
Don't say Thibodeau.
I didn't agree with his firing.
Oh my God.
I didn't. I mean, hey, the guy has got you know, I mean, let me rephrase that. I didn't agree with it, but I could understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he went deep enough into his bench.
Okay, that was my thing. He would always just leave Jalen Brunson out there 30-something plus minutes in a row.
That was my biggest issue with how he ran that club. It's like, listen, this isn't the 80s. This isn't the 90s. You know, these guys are built differently, man. And I just think it makes more sense. If I could play 10 guys, man, I'm playing 10 guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you're playing 15 minutes a night, you're going to play. Because in the season is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And the team that is healthiest, that has the freshest legs, more times than not, that team is going to be the team that's hoisting that trophy at the end of the season. So, but I don't think Mike Brown gets enough credit, but I think he's done a heck of a job with this team. And I think that his players are bought in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see them coming out of the East.
Yeah, and Mike Brown, he was getting criticized all throughout the year too. Like the media was all over him saying it was a bad hire. So he's definitely proving a lot of the media and the haters wrong for sure.
And they'll find something. They'll, revisionist history. They'll find something to nitpick him on at the end of the season, even though he had success. But that's what they get paid for, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, goodness. No comment.
That dude is crazy, man. So, I mean, obviously, we know the Knicks won, and, you got the Sixers going home again early. What do they do? I mean, I'm hearing some people saying Maxey should ask out because, can you trust Joel Embiid? Can you actually win there? I mean, what do you guys think about the Sixers going forward?
I mean, I don't know what you do with Joel Embiid at this point. To me, he's almost a liability, but he's not because he's so great. Embiid alone if he could stay healthy, we all know what he can do. He can be better than Jokic.
For sure.
He can be that player that can take this team to the next level, but thank God they found Maxey, to be honest.
Right.
Like, thank God they found him because it's falling apart if he's not on that floor. If Embiid's not on that court, it's falling apart. So I don't know even what you could get for him at this point too. So I don't know. I hope they don't lose hope in him. They, get him back to where he's 100%, but if he can't stay healthy, I think this will probably be his last year over there with them, and then some team will probably pick him up for cheap, or they'll try to get something for him.
Yeah.
You mentioned Embiid, but you got Paul George too.
I was gonna say Paul George.
George. You got all that money. You got all that money tied up into two ball players that can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Now they dog AD, but he ain't the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He is not the only one. As far as Philly's concerned, well, let me go back. As far as Max is concerned, why leave? That's your team.
Yeah.
Right.
That's your team. You stay there. He got that young boy right beside him. Edgecombe, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got him, right? Now, what Philly needs to do is I'm going back to what I said earlier. They need to manage. They need to build this franchise. Teams have got to stop going for giving all these guys that's been, 13, 14, 15 years in the league, giving these max deals to these guys. At some point, the body breaks down. When you're 35, 36, not everybody's LeBron James.
Right.
So you have to be, you have to know. Now, I know you cats are young, but my mindset is like, if you look at football back in the 80s and 90s, the 49ers, they had Joe Montana and Steve Young. Joe Montana was getting up there in age. Steve Young was younger. So they traded Joe Montana. At some point, you got to know when to let guys go. You can't keep paying these guys all this money and then have buyer's remorse 2 years down the road when they're having injuries. Hey, man, would you let's put it this way. This is the last thing I'm going to say about this. And then I'm going to pass it on to you, Grant. You got a car that's 10 years old. Are you going to keep putting money in it, or you going to go and trade it in and get a new one?
Nah, I'm going to trade it in.
Exactly. So when that guy gets 10 years, especially, he missed his first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He missed the first 2 years of his career. And they just gave him a boatload of money, 2-3 years ago or whatever?
Yeah.
And he's still tied in that contract. Then you go and you sign Paul George.
I don't know what Paul George had over the league. He looked like he was on a decline ever since he went to the Thunder. Like, ever since he left the Pacers, he's like, he just looked like he was on a decline the whole time. So I don't know. I thought that was strange. I thought that was strange as well.
Yeah, so I just think that they need to, if you can get some young guys, guys have been in the league 3-4 years, if you can bring those guys in to build around Maxey and Edgecombe, that's what I would be doing. And if you can get 35, get 45, 50, 60 games out of Embiid, that's a win. But you got to figure out where you're going as a franchise to fix that mess. You just can't go and offer me a contract.
So would you ship out Embiid for like Antetokounmpo?
Well, they had to be drunk in Milwaukee to make that.
Yeah,
that trade.
I would do that in a heartbeat if I could.
If Milwaukee would take him, I would do that. Yes. But
Antetokounmpo and Embiid are totally different. Like, Embiid is literally, to me, Embiid can be that guy. Like, I know the injuries, but you kind of have to time manage him. You kind of have to be a little bit more careful with him because this guy fits that system. We've seen it. Like, he literally fits the Sixers system. And I don't know if he would have the same, if Antetokounmpo came to, Philly, I don't know if it would mesh as well, because then that would shift a lot of the the focus to Maxey and like Edgecombe, when I think they still need that big.
Yeah, and see, and they're two different type ball players too, though. They're two different positions. See, Embiid's a 5, and Giannis is a 4. So so there lies an issue right there. But as far as health and that motor's concerned, Giannis has a motor, man.
Yeah.
And that guy plays both ends of the floor, night in, night out. He competes.
Stats wise, he's up there too with Embiid. Like, they pretty much have similar stats when they're healthy. Like, motor, everything.
Yeah,
so.
but for Giannis for you to get the most out of Giannis, you got to have a big playing beside him. You got to have a center playing with him.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I was saying about Anthony Davis last week. Anthony Davis is a power forward, but he's not a center.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's gonna be hard. I don't foresee Philly being able to move Joel Embiid. I just don't. I just don't see him being able to move him for the amount of money he's making.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Just gonna have to ride it out.
Yep. And I think he got 3 years left on his deal. I think something like that. 2 or 3 years, something like that. But anyway, but that's a lot of money. And yeah,
he's chilling.
He may go to LA.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it. I can see it.
Oh man, yeah. So great, great playoff performances so far. Obviously, a lot of teams have a lot to think about going into the summer. The teams that are eliminated. So now let's get into the main topic, man. Let's get this spicy thing going. I got a list of all the players who were in this anonymous poll from The Athletic. They polled NBA players, execs on who they thought was overrated and underrated. And so let's just dive into some of these players and see what your takes are on them. Let's go with Jalen Brunson, man. One of the best guards in the league for sure. Obviously, the best player on the Knicks. Me personally, I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
Like I think that you can make an argument that he's a top 15 player in the league when he's healthy. Obviously, he has some size issues. He's not the biggest guard, and you have questions about a little guard leading a team to a championship. There's only been a couple with Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons back in the day, Steph Curry, 6'3" and under. I think Brunson's shorter than 6'3", right?
So,
like 6'2", 6'1", or something like that, but stout. What he's doing with the Knicks, I mean, he's potentially leading them to a finals. They're a contender pretty much every year he's been on the team. Like, I think he's underrated. What do you guys think?
I think he's underrated, 100%. I just think a lot of people see Jalen Brunson as kind of a ball hog, but he needs to be that ball hog sometimes. But I also do see there's times he needs to pass the ball because it's not his night, and he's trying to create something that's not there. So, but Jalen Brunson is 100% the leader of this team. If he's not on all cylinders, it's really hard for the Knicks to get going. So when people say he's kind of like overrated, it doesn't make sense to me because he came from Dallas. When he came over to the Knicks, he had a lot to prove, and he's shown at Madison Square Garden, the biggest stage, that he can be that top 15 player like you're talking about. So I have him as underrated for sure.
I'm biased, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm biased. He is very underrated.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying this. This kid, I watched this kid in college at Villanova, man. And he was doing what he's doing now then. He's a winner. He's a winner. He's a competitor. And as far as I'm saying, he's a ball hog. Come on, man. The point guard position is different today than it was yesteryear. Point guards today are lead guards. If your point guard doesn't score, you're not going to win many games. Period. Look at every team in the league, and look at their point guard position. How many of their point guards are averaging 8 points a game and 10 assists? Not a one.
Yeah, not one.
Unless it's a backup point guard, but it's your starting point guard is a lead guard. And as far as when he was in Dallas, he was playing behind Luka.
Yeah.
So he had a big chip on his shoulder. And when he got that opportunity to go to New York, go home and play, I was happy for him. I was excited for him because I watched the kid play in Villanova and win championships.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as his size is concerned, yeah, he's small and he's shorter than some of the point guards that he's facing. But on the other end of the floor, they got to guard him also. And when he gets them on that block or down, in that mid-range area, that turnaround jump shot, they're not strong enough.
Yeah, big body.
So it's a trade-off. That big body, it's a trade-off. But no, he's very underrated in my mind.
Yeah, glad we all agree about that. Because I'm like, dude, this dude is 6'1", 6'2", and he's potentially leading his team to the finals. Like
which is insane.
That's insane.
Let me ask y'all this. So for all those guys or whoever's saying that he is overrated or whatever, I bet you they want him on their team.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
So next, another player, Nikola Jokic, man, on the Nuggets. He was on this poll. a lot of people voted for him as overrated, which is kind of like, I didn't really expect it for them to say he was overrated, but at the same time, I kind of get it. Like they're saying he's a top 3 big all time right now based on what he's done. You know, he's won multiple MVPs. His stats are insane. You know, leading the league in assists as a big is crazy. But for me, it's like the dude doesn't really play defense. You know what I mean? The dude doesn't really play defense. He's not that athletic. He gets exposed in a lot of ways. So I do agree that like we probably need to pump the brakes and say that I'm taking Shaq over him any day of the week. That's just me personally. Like I'm taking Shaq. I'm taking a couple other bigs, probably Hakeem. Like I think Jokic is a little overrated, in my opinion.
I don't think he's overrated. I think he's like in the middle. Like he's right in the middle. Because Jokic to me is like something you've never really seen before. A guy that is like almost awkwardly moving, but can create the space to knock down just any shot. Like the guy is a knockdown shooter. The guy is legit. So you just don't see that, you know, and to me with the Shaq and Jokic, it depends on what type of game you want to play. Like Jokic, like you need a guy that can still hit that three, a big that you can get in the corner, still hit that three. Yes, I'm doing that. But if you want Shaq, who's going to absolutely dominate the paint, then okay, I'd be like, yes. But Jokic can still do that too. He's so awkwardly, like how he moves and everything that it works. I don't know what it is. It's like a foreign thing because Luka has the same thing as well. It's like it's their own timing. So I don't know. To me, that's how I see it when I think about like Jokic. Because Denver, if they didn't have Jokic, they wouldn't be that great. You know, I don't think they'd be good at all.
That's true.
So that's what I got on.
I'm not gonna say he's overrated. I'm not gonna say he's underrated. I'm just gonna say it like this. He's playing in today's era of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and what I mean by that is, if you listen to the so-called experts and everything else, they talk about Luka, they talk about the Joker, they talk about guys that don't play no doggone defense. Basketball, you got to play both ends of the floor. So, in today's world, he's great because of what he does on the offensive end of the floor. But what you said earlier, Grant, about him not playing defense, that's my thing. If you don't play both ends of the floor, you know, you play good offense, but this ain't football. You got to play defense too. That's why you know, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm not high on Luka. Luka don't play defense. You know, I know he does a lot on the offensive end, but at the same time, when you don't play defense, you don't win championships.
Yeah. I mean, Jokic, he got exposed against the Timberwolves. I mean, even Jaden McDaniels, he said on interview, like, we're going at Jokic, we're going at all these guys because they know that he can't slide his feet. He's not athletic. Like, they were just going at him.
Yeah. The Matadors.
Yeah.
Olay.
Olay.
Yeah. I mean, I just think we need to pump the brakes and saying he's a top 2 big all time. Like, that's just me. Like, I think, you know, if he wins a couple more chips, you know, maybe he has 3 MVPs, which is crazy, but like a couple more chips, maybe if he plays a little more defense, I'm sure he's probably going to look at the film and be like, yeah, I was getting cooked. But I don't know if he's a top 2 big all time right now.
I mean, but think about it though. He won those MVPs because of what he does offensively.
Yeah.
That's why he won those. When Giannis won his MVPs, both ends of the floor. That guy competes at both ends of the floor. I like those. I love those type of basketball players that play both ends of the floor. This new age stuff where you just play offense and you do all this stuff on the offensive end of the floor. It's cute, but it ain't gonna win you nothing.
It's just the name of the game is scoring now. That's just what it is. That's what the NBA's, you know, made it about, is just how many, and that's all they're taking when they're drafting people. Most of the time, it's not even for the defense. If they can score, you know, Right now, it seems to me like it's like if you score 20, 25, 30 in college, all right, you're on the team. You can have the best defense in the world, and there's still, like, it's not going to work out, because there's just so many great scorers in the league. It's hard to play defense now. That's where I see the game has advanced so much, is that it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to guard this man Shea. Like, I was watching the other night and I was like, Jesus, like, this dude is still like, there's guys that are on him hand and face. Like, the guy can't even see the rim and he's making it. Like, we're not just talking about, oh, it's hitting the rim and it goes in. It's a swish every time. So it's like, what can these guys do defensively when these guys are such great scorers? It's really hard for me to see that, because that's what the game is.
And the officiating, the officiating is much softer than it was years ago. And that's another big topic for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, let me ask you two a question though. Does Shea play defense?
Yeah.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
See, he plays both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
He competes. So you can go and draft all these guys that can score all you want. They sitting at home watching Shea play.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because he has 9 other guys that are better than, half these guys starting 5.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Who's the leader of OKC's team? Who's the leader?
It's Shea.
Exactly my point. You go where your leader goes. If your leader is the hardest worker in your gym, everybody else got to follow suit.
Yeah.
That's championship DNA right there. DNA. If he's your hardest worker as a coach, your job is a whole lot easier, because now if you can hold him accountable, that 12th guy, that 10th, that 9th guy, they have no excuses. Or they be going to play for Los Angeles.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry,
the Lakers, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God!
Last one.
Lakers the butt of the joke every day.
Oh my gosh, man! We got to do something, man.
But yeah, but seriously, you got to play both ends of the floor for me. That's just if you want to win. If you want to make money, score baskets.
Yeah,
absolutely. And another player I really want to talk about that was on this list as well is Jason Tatum. Marsell, that sits right at home. He's one of my favorite players. I've always followed Jason Tatum. Tall guard, very athletic, can score, can create as well, plays defense. But for me personally, I think he's a little overrated, in my opinion. Like Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, Jaylen Brown was the Finals MVP that year when they won it. Jaylen Brown he hits those tough shots more consistently than Tatum does. I'm not saying Tatum can't hit those tough shots, but sometimes, he just chucks up shots and he's inefficient at times. I think Jason Tatum is a little overrated, in my opinion.
I want to hear Marcel's thoughts.
Yeah. I want to hear Marcel.
I have the same opinion. With
I just got one question. If he's available, would you take him on the Lakers?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, of course, with the Lakers, man. Yeah, of course. But
it's hard. It's how can you have Jaylen? You have Jaylen Brown and Tatum. They kind of like they don't mesh well to me. I don't think they mesh well. I think they'd be redundant. I think it kind of redundant. I think it would be a great. I think if Tatum left, I think that would be better for the Celtics, because I think Jaylen Brown is kind of made it that this is his team, even though I'm Tatum. I just have so much mixed feelings on Tatum. I really do, because I believe Jaylen Brown is better. I do. I 100% think Jaylen Brown's better, and I think Tatum is trying to be someone like you always see those videos of Jason Tatum like acting like Kevin Garnett, acting like different players, and can never really be his own player. So I think if he left Boston and got on another team, I would love him on the Lakers. Yeah. But I would love him like anywhere else, because I think he does need his own team, because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it doesn't really, to me, it's like friction.
That's outside talking about something going on the inside. Let me ask you guys a question. What did they do 3 years ago? 3 years ago. What did they do together?
I mean, they won. Yeah, they
My
won.
point.
Yeah.
My point. And of course, it looks like they don't mesh because of their style of play, which I'm not a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not a fan of 53s a game. It's entirely too many. Okay. As far as him being overrated, you already answered my question for me though, because you would take him on LA in a heartbeat. So, but you know,
I think it's how they talk about Jason Tatum.
Yeah, man.
That's how I think about it. It's how they talk about him.
And this is all I'm gonna say about Jason Tatum. Okay, I think because he is not he's not boisterous. He's not talking about himself. I mean, he's not pounding his chest. I mean, you know, he's not outside of basketball. He's quiet. You don't see him.
Right.
If he were more visible, you know, as far as outside the game is concerned, advertisements on TV, and he's more accessible, I guarantee you people's opinion of him would change. You know, a great example was Tim Duncan.
Mm.
Right?
That man was not overrated. That man was a dog.
Well, I'm not saying that. Oh, he definitely wasn't overrated. But my point is, I just think it's the personalities.
Yeah.
You know? I think the reason why he's finding his way. How old is he?
He's young. He's like probably 27, 28.
Yeah,
maybe.
like 28.
27, 28. So he's finding his way right now. And he won a championship, and say anything's possible. That's probably the first thing that popped in his head was Kevin Garnett. I mean, I'm not making excuses for that, but as far as him being overrated, I highly disagree with that.
Who do you have for the last shot? Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum?
Say it again.
Who do you have for the last shot? Jason Tatum or Brown?
Depends on how the game is going and who's hitting.
But that's the thing. It can't be that. There needs to be a for sure guy.
Okay. Well, we go back to the Miami Heat days.
I'm going with LeBron James.
We can go. No, you're not, because he ain't gonna shoot the ball.
Oh my God.
We go back to Cleveland. Kyrie won that check. Kyrie should have been the MVP of that championship. Last shot.
LeBron James.
Your question was
because all the focus is on LeBron James.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh my God.
Come on now. Let's be real here now.
Man.
But again, it depends on who has the opportunity to take the last shot. That's how confident I am in both of those guys. Think about this now. That series against Dallas, Jason Tatum wasn't having his best series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown was, right? So if it came down to that last second shot, as a matter of fact, who hit the jump shot? Who hit that shot against was it Brooklyn that year? The Nets? It was Jaylen Brown. Hit that, it was a three from the corner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again, when you got a 1A and a 1B on your team, it doesn't matter who takes that last shot. Unless it's, Cleveland and Kyrie saving you.
So who's 1A?
1A? Me. No, you know what? Depends on the weather. If the sun's shining bright, it's Jaylen Brown. If it's raining, it's Jason Tatum.
I don't know.
Listen, at the end of the day, that's a great issue to have.
Exactly.
No, that's
100%.
For sure.
That's a great issue to have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was a really good topic. I love diving into the overrated, underrated players. I think each year you're going to have a list or a poll, with people voting on who they think is overrated and underrated. A lot of it's subjective. A lot of it is, a lot of it is factual. You take into account every single thing that goes into this. But a great topic, like always. Good talking with you guys, Marsell and Najee. We will be back with sports talk again next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tune in, share with your friends and family, man, and bless up. Bless up.
Glory to God, always.
See you,